Now that we've made our picks from each region, guys, who are your sleeper and upset picks?
Well, actually, my sleeper pick is Cleveland State. They're going to play Wake Forest, the number 4 seed in the Midwest bracket. They were actually the Horizon League champions. They beat Butler.
Yeah, in the conference tournament.
Yeah, and to get into the NCAA tournament. But they've also showed that they can play in tournament format. They did have that overtime, not overtime, but a buzzer beater over Syracuse. And also, their coaching style is not always as mainstream in terms of leadership and knowledge. Wake Forest does have Jeff Teague. He's one of the best players in the country right now, but they're not going to look to stop him. They're going to look to stop the number 2 and 3 guys, James Johnson and Al-Farouq Amino, for Wake Forest, who are supplying 27 points and 16 rebounds on average per game. If they stop them, then it's going to be a one-man show, and Wake Forest can't do that. Miami did that to them earlier this year, and so did Virginia Tech, and they'll win. And even I think they could even go a little bit further. They would be playing the Utah-Arizona winner. Both of those teams are beatable with the spirit that is behind these Vikings from Cleveland State.
Sean?
My upset pick, as I said, Butler over UNC. That's my biggest upset of the tournament. Others to watch out for: Utah, though they're ranked number 5th, they're largely unknown to a lot of people. They had a great year. They could upset a Wake Forest team in the second round, providing they both make it, and then also maybe ultimately beating number 1 Louisville in the following round. There's a lot of potential upsets on this board. How about you, Pete?
How about this for an upset? We're going to move to the Midwest Regional. Number 14, North Dakota State over number 3, Kansas. Kansas is coming off the national title this year, although they did lose a lot of guys from that team. They still have Sharon Collins, but this is a young team, not really that tournament tested, and North Dakota State is an interesting team. The last couple of years, they've scored upset wins over Marquette and Wisconsin. They're the Summit League regular season and conference champions with a 26-6 record. And their big 3 of Ben Woodside, Brett Winkleman, and Mike Nelson, I think, are really quality players who could play in any conference. Ben Woodside dropped 60 points in a game earlier this season, so I think they've got a good chance to make some noise. Another upset pick I like is number 12 seed Western Kentucky over Illinois. I think the key in this one, if you look at Western Kentucky, they're coming off the Sweet 16 last year. And before you pick Western Kentucky, I think it's important to know, though, that they are missing some of the players that led them to the Sweet 16 last year. Courtney Lee was a first-round pick for the Orlando Magic. They lost their second leading scorer, Tyrone Brazelton, and the guy who hit the shot against Drake last year, Ty Rogers, also graduated. But I think the key is Chester Frazier is out for Illinois, and Western Kentucky has really good point guard play with Orlando Mendez-Valdez. He's the Sun Belt Player of the Year, and I think that'll be the difference maker in that game. And for a sleeper pick, I really like West Virginia, the 6th seed in the Midwest. They play Dayton in the first round. I don't think Kansas is going to get past North Dakota State, so I think West Virginia has a good chance to beat Michigan State in the Sweet 16. So I like them to get the Elite 8. So,
also with North Dakota State, it's a really great story for them. This is their first year eligible to make the NCAA tournament, as they just became Division I eligible. And it's a great story for the seniors that stayed back a year. This is their 5th year of eligibility, and it's a great story for them to actually make the tournament.
Yes, all 3 of those seniors were redshirted with the purpose of making the NCAA tournament this year. So, great story there. And finally, guys, who do you think is going to win it all?
Go ahead.
Well, I got UConn over Oklahoma in the championship game. I think UConn is a very good team. I have them facing Louisville in the Final Four, and it's 2 Big East teams. You'll see great Big East basketball, and I think UConn prevails. And I think Oklahoma beats Villanova pretty handily in the other side of the bracket there, and I think UConn has an advantage over Oklahoma, as Oklahoma is maybe somewhat exposed a little bit in the Big 12 championship series.
I actually have Louisville over Syracuse. I think that in the semifinal game, I have Louisville against Memphis, which is going to be a great rehashing of a very, very powerful CUSA.
Old Conference USA rivalry game.
Yeah, and I think that with the strengths of Memphis coming up and fighting really hard, and just the overall quality of play that Louisville has, you were saying with Rick Pitino as their coach, who's come from smaller programs, he understands that spirit that's going to be there, and that's going to be pretty motivational for Louisville to come up. They're going to have that magic after beating a team like that, and really going to be able to, I think, stick it to Syracuse. I think that Louisville will win by at least 15 points over Syracuse. I think Sean was saying earlier that Syracuse is going to run out of tank soon enough, and I think that when Louisville, after getting tested emotionally with that rivalry that Memphis has with them, that will again re-spark Louisville into that final game, and they'll just be able to outrun and outplay.
Yeah, Louisville's definitely clicking right now. I like UNC. As long as Ty Lawson is healthy, I don't think there's a team that's going to beat them. Tyler Hansbrough, Wayne Ellington, I think this is a veteran team, and they're just ready to win it all this season. That's going to wrap up our NCAA preview show, so make sure to tune in next week when we recap the CCHA playoffs from the Joe Louis Arena.